Good morning. From the dawn of civilization, India has remained a cradle of culture and tradition. The world's significant religions were birthed in India, namely Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, and Buddhism. There was religion even during the Indian Indus Valley civilization, which proof was found during the excavation. Hinduism is said to be the oldest religion, which had its root uh, fed back to 5,000 years from the prehistoric era. Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism followed after. But then came the age of foreign invaders. These tyrants not only looted us of our wealth, but brought in their religion and forced it upon us. Religions such as Islam, Christianity, and Judaism arrived. During the reign of Ashoka, there are pieces of evidence suggesting he accepted and patronized different religions. This belief lasted till the beginning of the Mughal emperors. With the Islamic religion came intolerance towards Hinduism and building of new temples. The same continued as the rise of British Raj and East India Company occurred. However, as time passed, in order to prevent revolts and the downfall of their rule over India, the British planned to cause cultural riots among the people to aid their objective. This led to a lot of problems such as the formation of Muslim League, Hindu-Muslim communal riots, the partition of the nation, and many more such issues which still haunts in the present. So to run smooth governance post-independence, certain laws were passed in order to maintain inter-religious peace. This is where secularism comes in. With the 42nd Amendment of the Constitution of India 1976, the preamble to the Constitution asserted that India is a secular nation. The meaning of a secular state is that it does not prioritize any religion of the country and its people. Institutions started to recognize and accept all religions, enforce parliamentary laws instead of religious laws, and respect pluralism. Let us move ahead and get to know about the secularism and its significance to the context of the largest democracy, India. Philosophy in India about secularism is Sarva Dharma Sambhava, which literally translates to all religions lead to the same path even though the beliefs are different, and also treat all religions with equal respect. There are no official religion in India, neither any particular state religion. It assures religious freedom to the member of all religions. Citizens are free to choose and abide by their religion. Indian secularism is a means to address religious plurality and not an end in itself. It sought to achieve the peaceful coexistence of different religions.
As it is very clear from the above information that secularism in India is broadly the separation of religion from the state and the nation. It is basically the belief that religion should not influence or be involved in the organization of the society, education and government, etc. India is a secular nation, and there are various instances where we can see people are being treated equally before the law. But at the same time, there are various instances where people are getting mistreated by the law, and there are various instances that prove that secularism is not a real thing in India. Now let us look at some of the instances which put a question mark on the secularism being followed by India. The first is the Udaipur incident of murder of Kanhailal. Kanhailal Teli was a Hindu tailor who was murdered by two Muslim assailants on 28 June 2022 in Udaipur. They captured the attack video on camera and circulated the video online. Lal was killed for allegedly sharing a social media post in support of Indian politician and BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma, whose comments led to the 2022 Muhammad remarks and sibling controversy. This case clearly shows that how one section of the society are very extremist and are very intolerant about the religion. Even the more disturbing thing is that they circulated the murder video and clearly challenged the laws and stating that extremist thought of Islam. They also conveyed that they would continue these acts if anyone questions their religion. It is extremely unfortunate that only Hindu temples falls under the endowment board. It has increased to such an extent, government has also occupied the area covered by the Indian temples. Perhaps the government of the time must have realized the potential of the earning of that these temples show. However, several religious structures of other religions also make handsome profit. They are let alone in the name of secularism. While all the religious structures influence money from the common man, it is extremely unjust and partial to monitor pleading by one community and let other go.
Start.
Being a secular nation, there should be a good example of how to treat all institutions and religious monuments and place equally. There are only two ways to solve it. That it either by treating all religions same and taking control of mosques and churches by releasing the mandirs and from the control of the government.
Secularism clearly states that there should be no partiality or unjust to any students on the basis of religion in educational institution. However, recently there has been a raising issue of hijab cases in Karnataka, where some of the girl students were prohibited in entering the classroom and educational institution for wearing the religious attire, that is hijab. There have been several questions being raised about the freedom to practice one's religion. The Muslim students also counter-raised by asking questions to the government regarding this. Students also counter-argued issues by raising voice about the allowance of wearing of turban by the Sikhs and wearing of bangles by the Hindus. However, as the Muslim protests grew violent, the government stated the argument that wearing a turban is allowed to the Sikh but the Muslims are not allowed to wear hijab inside classroom is absurd. Turban is an essential part of the Sikh religion. However, the hijab is mentioned in the Quran, not as an essential part in Islam. In this case, the government could have been a stand for the truth, or there should be code of conduct and ethics in educational institution where one student should be refrained from showcasing their religious identity inside the classroom.
Pseudo-secularism. In the Indian context, the term pseudo-secularism is used to describe policies considered to involve minority appeasement. The Hindus from the majority religious community in India, the term pseudo-secular implies that those who claim to be secular are actually not so, but anti-Hindus are pro-minorities. It is more a strategic move to ensure vote from the minorities and is loosely termed as vote bank politics. This being said, once we observe the trends and steps and laws declared, it can be clearly observed that they are anti-Hindu in most of the cases.
Laws declared by the governing bodies is something to be applied to all citizens irrespective of belief or religions. However, it has been seen that there are various personal laws for Muslims, Christians and Parsis. Now these laws, such as defined by the nation, gets overruled and hence becomes instances of pseudo-secularism. In 1986, a Muslim woman, Shah Bano Begum, was denied alimony even after winning a court case because the Indian Parliament reversed the court judgment under pressure of Islamic orthodoxy. This is often presented as a proof of Congress's practice of pseudo-secularism by many Indians. The case of polygamy and triple talaq are also some examples of pseudo-secularism.
There are different other instances that clearly indicate that pseudo-secularism is one of the most real things that is being prevailing in our society. Some of these are, as we know that movies, advertisement and web series are the new way to spread propaganda to a large number of people. This is the easiest way to softly convince people to believe and think in a particular way that the producers and the directors of the movie want. Now, if a director or the production house of that movie are biased toward a particular viewpoint, then it will clearly be reflected by their work in the form of the movies and web series. In the recent past, there are various movies that clearly prove that the concept of pseudo-secularism is correct. For example, the PK movie by Amir Khan, which is considered as one of the highest grossing movies in the history of Bollywood, is accused to be controversial because of different scenes. It was accused of spreading blasphemy against Hindu gods and gurus. Not only this, there were also scenes that showed the act of Lord Shiva being made to run across the streets and toilets. It was tolerated and accepted by the audience, but some of the politicians and leaders filed a case against it for disrespecting the sentiments of the Hindus only. Apart from the web series, the advertisement also holds a major part in spreading the propaganda. For instances, the Manyavar commercial featuring Alia Bhatt vilifying the ritual of Kanyadan. A commercial of the Red Label also portrayed how a Hindu couple is unwilling to accept an invitation for tea at the house of their Muslim neighbors because of their religion. Another Red Label commercial shows a Muslim man crafting Lord Ganesh statues, but the Hindu buyer is unwilling to buy as the seller was a Muslim. These instances clearly makes an image that how Hindus are more intolerant and how the practices of Hindus are backward. However, this is not the actual truth. From this, we can clearly conclude how pseudo-secularism prevails in India.
Okay. So now we can conclude by saying that India is one of the 96 secular nations that protects all religions equally. It supports and aids its residents in practicing their faith. However, there are times when intervention and positive reforms are required for the welfare of the society. Regarding recent incidents such as Karnataka hijab case, Khalistan during farmer riots, etc. and so forth, a critical question has been raised. That is it necessary for the court to rule on the constitutionality of religious practice in order to establish a right even when it does not damage the majority of society? As a result of modernity, a new tendency of questioning customs has evolved. This establishes and emphasizes the fundamental right to equality that we all enjoy. While fighting for your rights, it is not immortal, interfering in religious affairs to establish a right and jeopardizing the religious sensibilities of specific followers is not something a secular state should do unless there is a sustainable harm to the sector, the adhering religion and beliefs that should not be jeopardized. So that is what we like to conclude. Thank you.